But I quite like practicing with people, so it's quite nice too. So, and practicing with people is different to teaching. I mean, I like going to other people's classes so that I don't have to teach them. Then I can just go inside the exercise, and I'm not thinking about what I need to say next. So it's a very, very different process for me. So I like going to other people's classes. Gong. So we'll just start the exercise up, and we'll talk a little bit more about it as we go and see what comes up in the exercise anyway. So as we bring the hands up to the front, get to the chest, we turn our hands over. Now this, didn't even get very far where we're going to start already. I just laugh. I was thinking to myself, I don't know where we're going to go with this. I didn't get past this one before the first piece happened. It's the revolving, how you revolve the hands around, how you do that. Yeah, how you turn the hands to the front. This revolving of the hands. Yeah, and how you do that. And it's an elbow thing. It's a whole arm thing. So when the hands come up from the bottom, the elbows, all you do is you bend the elbows. So you don't do anything. You don't pick the shoulder. All you do is bend the elbows, which brings your arms up. But then the arm rotates. They're like that. So it's like the arm's doing this, that movement, and it's not an arm thing. The hand's not moving. The arm's moving. The elbow's rotating. You're rotating from the elbow. So as it comes up, elbows come up. Then you rotate the elbows, and as you bring the elbow down and you rotate the elbow, the hands come up and they follow the path. Very cool. And then it goes out again. Now, when it goes out, the elbows just go straight. All you do is straighten the elbows. So nothing's moving except for the elbows for the first part of the exercise. As you bring your hands up, elbows bend, elbows rotate, elbows straighten. Did you love that? Good. Now, it's different now. Now we engage shoulders, which is a totally different thing from the elbows. We grow our shoulders, then our shoulders open. We open our chest from the shoulders, and then we lower our shoulders. So there's two parts to this. One's for the elbows, one's for the shoulders, and I've never ever said that to anybody. Comes up elbows, roll over elbows, elbows straighten. When they don't straighten, of course, they just get to the semi-straight. Shoulders, shoulders. Good. Now we're going to change that slightly, and we're going to use the idea of the elbow strings like a puppet to the idea. So the elbows come up, and as they come up, they're going like this to the sides. Yeah, like that to the sides. That motion from here out to like that. So as we do that, the elbow strings are going to be pulled out from the sides. Yep. So as we come up, the elbow strings pull out from the sides, and it'll feel really weird. Then you rotate the elbows around, and the elbows roll over. Yep. And then the elbow strings are going to be pulling in from the inside of your arm. From the inside of your arm, it's going to pull that, which is going to straighten the arm. It's going to do this. You're not pushing in from the outside, you're pulling it in from the inside. So like strings across here. So the strings are going to go across that way, and the other string's going to go across that way. And when you've got to here and you go forward, it's going to pull your arms together. So you have this idea of the feeling, if we just had our arms like that, of the elbows being pulled in like that. And it's been pulled that way, but they're not being pushed, they're being pulled. It's such an important differentiation. They've been pulled together from the inside, they're not being pushed from the outside. Martially, this is a huge piece martial-wise as well. If I'm going to bring my arm in, if I'm sitting there and I need to move my arm in, I don't push from the outside, I pull it from the inside to move my arm. And I do that because I have that idea, and there's more power pulling it in or pulling the elbow in, that motion, than I do have by pushing the elbow forward. Yeah, I'm pulling the elbow forward, I pull it in. It's different. Yep. Pull it forward, and I'm pulling the elbow forward this way. I'm trying to exaggerate that so you can see it. So I'm pulling the elbow that way, pull it that way. So the motion is, so when the strike comes, if I was doing Tai Chi and I'm doing a strike and the hand's going that way with a strike, most times what you think is, you think of the hand, the outside of your hand, your blade side of your hand, you think of that as the strike, and you think of pushing that like that, and at the same time you think of the elbow and you're going out that way. But if you change the concept of the way you think and think of you pulling the elbow in, when you pull the elbow forward, you pull it like, and it flicks out because of that motion, it's very different than putting your elbow out that way. Energetically, it's hugely different. And so it has a very different effect of that motion by bringing your elbow forward. Bring it forward, bring it forward, bring it forward, and that creates the movement. So this is what's happening inside this exercise, where the opposite's happening to what you think it is, which is pretty normal for most Tai Chi and Qigong. It's the opposite. So the same thing again, elbows out, with him being pulled out, rotate the shoulders, the elbows over, and then bring the inside of your elbow towards the center. They'll feel really different. Now, shoulders. As the shoulders go out, the same thing this time. Now we have wrist strings and elbow strings, and they're being pulled to backwards for you. So the arms are coming apart, not because I'm opening my arms with my shoulders, but because my wrist and my elbow is being pulled backwards. And so they're being pulled back. So it feels like they're being pulled open for me, and I'm not doing anything with the shoulders at all. And then relax. And then all of a sudden now I'm doing the elbow strings and the wrist strings, let them lower your arms down. So the idea of it is to relax the shoulders. But if we think we have to open the arms with the shoulders, then we won't have them relaxed. So as I get to here, if I think I'm going to use my shoulders to bring my arms back, then my shoulders are engaged muscular-wise. And if I think I'm lowering my arms with my shoulders, then the muscles are involved lowering my shoulders. But if I think it's the strings picking it up, rotate them over, pull them in. But if I think it's the strings on my elbows and my wrist pulling it out, now my shoulders don't have to engage because it's coming from somewhere else. It's coming from further out, and my shoulders just follow it. Same thing now, I'm lowering my arms, so my shoulders don't have to engage. My arms are just going down, and my shoulders are just relaxed. Perfect. There you go. Very good. Great exercise, isn't it? This is just the physical piece of this. And if you try all these concepts, if you do this, elbow strings, wrist strings, the whole exercise will feel different. And then lower your arms, let your elbow strings. Yeah. If you have a class, Rebecca, you're in class. If you do this in class, what you can do is you can get somebody to stand, and you can get them to stand with a partner, you get them to stand outside of the body, and you get them to pull the arms back with the strings, with imaginary strings. You don't touch their arms. It's like you're holding it, and you get them to pull their arms back, and then you get to lower their arm when you go down, holding onto the strings. And the people can see you pulling the arm back, because they can feel that, because you're sitting there pulling the string back, and then they can feel you lowering the string. It's a very weird thing. If you've got enough people in class, you can do one either side. So you can have two people pulling the arms out, and then you can have two people lowering the arms either side, and everything changes in the arms when you do that. When you give permission to somebody else to do it for you. It's a weird expression, and do it yourself. So people do it to you so you can feel what it feels like when you do this, and you feel them pulling the arms out, and you feel them lowering it. Yep. So there's something you can do. We're doing it with our mind, our intention, but you can actually use other people to do this. Elbows, wrist strings. Elbows, wrist strings lower. And you see what happens, as soon as you do that, then you don't engage your shoulders, everything changes. Elbows, rotate the elbows, pull the elbows in. Good, perfect. Now your arms would have changed now because of that, because the way you're thinking, now the arms and shoulders, everything changes because your intention's different. Now most people, when you think of doing an exercise, they'll think of picking their hands up and pushing their hands forward, and that's actually got nothing to do with this exercise. And they'll think of using your shoulders to bring them to the side and shoulders to bring them down. It's got nothing to do with this exercise. It's about how you relax the shoulders, so they'll teach the shoulders how to move, and how you can move the hands, and the hands are moving by what's going on with the elbows, not the hands themselves. Yeah, it's what's happening in the elbows is creating this movement. It's not a hand movement. So you're taking your intention to a very different piece, and just let them float out to the side and let them float down. Very cool. So the breathing. Now we'll start from the bottom. Now, because we know we're going to breathe in, so we're going to breathe out first. So we're going to breathe out first, and then relax, breathe in. And then stop, relax, breathe out. then stop, breathe in. And I will do the pauses so you can amplify the gap, and then relax, breathe out. So the movement comes because of the relaxation. And the easiest way to do that is to stop in between the movements. To the bottom, stop, breathe in. Stop, breathe out. Stop, breathe in. Stop, breathe out. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to create, just stop there at the moment, what we're trying to do is we're getting that idea when we squash the sponge. It's that exact moment when you let it go, the sponge goes, but it doesn't go fast to start off. It goes fast to start off, and then the sponge slows down as it opens. So the initial stage of the full expansion or contraction of the sponge, it's faster than when it's at the other end. When it's just about expanded, it slows down as it expands. So that's what I'm trying to say. So, but the speed happens right at the start when you first let it go, because it's the most contracted it is, and it opens up quick, and then it just slowly expands. It goes and then opens up. But it's that initial piece where you let it go, that burst of energy that you want from from where you let it go, relax it, and the relaxation. As soon as you let it go, relax, the energy bursts quickly, and then we ride that energy wave at the rest of it out. So the same thing, but it happens both on the in-breath and the out-breath. So we're learning how to breathe out and compact our chi, which is easy to do in some exercises, but we're doing it in both in and out, where you compact the chi, and then you just relax, and it comes by itself. You push the chi down, and relax. It just comes up by itself. So there's this natural inflation that happens, but there's a thing that goes right at the start. So after you crush it, as soon as you relax, it actually is like this bolt of energy comes into the body, and it starts to expand, and we ride that wave of energy. So the other thing happens when we expand and then we relax, and this is the one we normally don't do. Normally you breathe in, feel the inflation, and breathe out, go. You have to force the inflation, the deflation, and go. But you don't. You breathe in and just let the body relax. Part of what you can do when you relax out is you breathe in and have that part of an exercise. We've done this before in some of the exercises. You can use gravity. Gravity is a great way so you can use the energy of gravity to do it on the relaxation. So when you do wave hands on, like breathing in, and you can just relax, and the relaxation is you let go, but you let go to gravity as well, you see. So gravity is going to pull it down, and then you ride the energy of gravity. Gravity is pulling your arms down, and you're not doing it. You're just riding the energy of gravity. So it's coming from external. You're not riding your energy down. You're riding the way that gravity wants to pull it down. You're utilizing energy of gravity, and you're riding gravity. So you're learning how to use gravity as an energetic force, and you're using that gravity to drive yourself. So this is the same thing in this exercise. So we come out. Now, when we're breathing in from this particular part, and we breathe out, we have that gravity. I'm just trying to exaggerate so you can see that. So breathing in, the body's expanded. Breathe out, and it's just that, and that initial thing when you just let go, and you let the out breath go to breathe out. There's the same thing happens as soon as you let go of gravity. Gravity really wants to do is just go. That's what it really wants to do. It just wants to flop. Yeah? So you let it go. And that part there, what you're getting is you're gathering that energy of that gravity, and you're riding the energy of that down. Nothing to do with your body. You're using the gravitational pull to do that. And you're riding gravity. So now your arm's not doing anything except for your energy is controlling that gravitational pull energy. So you're just using energy against energy, not muscles against muscles. And the arms are just happen to be in the air, but you're using energy for energy. Yep. So breathe in, relax, breathe in, and just relax. Feel that pop at the bottom. Turn it over, relax. Good. Relax. The sponge expand. Relax, use the gravity. Good. So the front bit's different. So breathing in. And this one here, so we're not using gravity because the hands are going straight forward on the out breath, so we can't use the out breath to go and drop them. We're coming straight forward. So what you're doing is you let the body go and let the body relax, and the arms come out from the relaxation of the whole body. The body goes and it goes and the hands come forward because of that. Yep, but there you don't see all that movement inside it, but that's what happens. The body lets go to gravity. As soon as you let go to gravity, the energy of gravity, you use that energy to push the hands out. Good. Relax, breathe in. Feel the expansion happen, natural expansion by itself. You ride the expansion wave, ride the gravity wave. Breathe in, pause. Perfect. Relax, breathe in. Feel the expansion. Relax, feel the gravity in your body, let your hands go forward. So you feel as the body goes down slightly, it goes down, and that down as the expansion goes down, as it goes down, the body and the hands come out from the down. So you can see you're not doing a lot of this exercise. Breathe in, release the sponge, the arms move by themselves. Relax the arms, breathe out, and the arms go down by themselves. You're not doing anything to create this, all you're doing is riding an energetic field. Breathing in. The expansion brings the hands up. Breathe out. The gravity pushes them forward. Inflation brings them apart. As you expand, it opens them up. And gravity brings them down. So in theory, you're not doing very much of this exercise at all, except for riding the energy waves in the 4 different places. Ride the wave. Ride the wave, gravity. Ride the wave, inflation. Ride the wave, gravity. Ride the wave, inflation. Ride the wave, gravity. Inflation. I love that feeling, that acceleration and that gap where it happens, that it just goes fast. It goes really fast and you've got to grab it. But most of the time, because we don't know how to relax, we don't normally move with relaxation. We move because we're making an energetic movement and we're pushing our hands forward, and we're using muscles to pull them apart. We're using muscles to take them down, and we're not even using our energy. Well, there is an energy involvement, but we're not using the energy force. We're using the muscle force, or the energy in the muscles. So this is a totally different one. So we're learning how to move our body energetically, but using outside influence or outside ideas instead of moving our energy with our own body, like lifting an arm up, lifting it down. Instead of just lifting it up and lifting it down energetically, we're using the down to bring it up, and we're going up to bring it down. We go down to bring it up, and up to bring it down. And so there's something else that's creating the arm to go up and down. It's not just lifting it up and down like this, which is just all straight muscular. You can do it energetically, but I mean, generally it'll be just muscular. So we're learning how to manipulate our body energetically. So the next one we'll go into, there'll be enough for that for the moment. So many pieces to that exercise, but we'll focus on that one. When you're practicing, just focus on that gap where you get the out breath, relax, and just feel it. Get to the body, relax. It's just like this pops. It's like pop, and you pop, relax. Pop, relax. Pop, relax. Pop, relax. Pop, relax. That initial release of the power through the relaxation, that relaxation, as soon as you let the relax, as soon as you let it go, the energy moves. Relax, energy moves. Tight, energy can't do anything, muscles move. Muscles move if it's tight. As soon as you relax, energy starts moving. Yeah, so I understand that. There you go. So that's the practice. But that's a big practice. That's a lifetime practice to learn how to let go in that place and ride the wave. This is not something you're just going to pick up one day, especially if people are watching this class and you haven't done many of these classes or you're new to these classes. These practices are 1,000-year-old exercise. I haven't been practicing for thousands of years, but maybe I have in some other life. But I haven't doing this, but I just understand the principle because I was taught the principles of these exercises, and then I just spent years practicing them, so I could feel this that expansion happen. As soon as you relax, the body expands, but as soon as you relax, the body contracts as well. It does both ways. It doesn't matter either or, because you're using two different forces to one's going in, one's going out. Anyway, kidney exercise, which we'll start off with the legs. We're just staying in the double horse stance, but it's a single horse stance. We won't go into a double one to do this to start off with. The right side first. So we're going to turn. As we turn, as soon as we, the same thing again, relax, we'll stay on the relax thing again. Relax, as soon as we relax, the body turns. The hips start turning. As soon as the body relaxes, it just turns. Yeah, so it's like sits there. We've given the body intention. We want to turn, relax, and it starts turning because you've already told it to do that. Relax, turn. Relax, turn. Relax, turn. Good. So the hands that comes past, relax, turn. The hand now is picking up the arm, is picking up the intention of that relaxed turn, and the arm's coming by itself, and it's just following that movement. If I did it faster, it's following this. The arm's empty. It's just, there's nothing in the arm, it's just empty. It's just following that movement of the hips. So the arm's not doing anything at all except for following the hip movement. Yeah, and there's a pathway where it does that, and everybody's path is slightly different. Because I do it out there, I've got to hold it up, muscular-wise. But if I do it down here, I can just let it go, and I can just flop it to the side, and the body will go like that. Now, everybody's going to be slightly different depending where their muscular construction of their arm is going to affect the way that they can swing their arm. And it might be, they might have their hand this way, they might have their hand backwards, might be sideways, could be out that way if they've got, well, depending on their shoulders. So mine's that way because of the years of weight training. My hand faces sort of like 45 degrees when I do that. When I'm just turning my hips and moving the arm. Same if I do it front and back. If I do it front and back, the arm has a certain cadence when I just let it flop. I'm not doing anything with the shot, I'm just turning my hips. It's just the hips. Yep. So that's the motion. So when we're doing it, when we turn, we're trying to find that groove, that perfect groove where the arm just travels through that area with nothing involved. There's no ligaments and tendons interfering with it. It just swings from side to side, and we're trying to find that pathway. Wherever it is, it'll be different for everybody. You've got to find where, and all I'm doing is move my hips backwards and forwards, my arms swinging backwards and forwards from the side. Now, I'm not turning the arm, I'm not swinging the hips this way, I'm not going that way, which is a different exercise. I'm not going front and back that way, I'm going this way. So the hips are going this way, they're not going around and around like that way. Because if I go round and around like that way, the arm's going to swing like this, right? That's what's going to happen if I do that. The arm's going to swing like that. But I'm not doing that. I'm not going backwards and forwards, backwards that way. I'm going side to side. I'm going this way. So as the arm comes up, there is a turn. There is a rotation as well because it goes to the side and it turns. So there's a turn and a rotation, but it happens down here, not round that way. I hope I just explained that well enough so you understand the turn's slightly different. You still have the rotation, but there's a turn of the hip that goes that way. To make the hip go that way. You stay double weighted, but the hip goes that way. Anyway, so what I'm saying is you need to find out where this place is, and it'll be different for everybody, where that arm just swings by itself. And that's the pathway you want to follow, exactly where that arm is now. When you bring the arm up, you want to follow that exact pathway because you know there's nothing engaged in the arm, so you can just use energy with nothing interfering with it. You're going to get to about here, because remember it only goes to about there, wherever that goes to. And then you're going to, from that, I'll stop it at where the top end of it is, which is about there. From there up to turning it around to there, I'm just going to use the energy to do that, to bring it up. So as it comes across, the momentum of me turning and turning the foot, the hand comes up. And now I'm just going to, same thing here, rotate the elbow around, brings the hand around. The elbow is going to rotate around, and the elbow string is going to pull up the elbow. Yeah, it's going to pull up the elbow to there. Good. And then I'm going to do is, I'm not doing anything again. I'm just going to rotate back to from my hips. I'm just going to turn my body around, and see the hand just comes by itself. I haven't even moved. The hand's just been suspended by the wrist string, the elbow string, sitting there looking this way. So as I come back to the front, it doesn't change. Right to here. I've got nothing from there to there. The elbow and the hand and my head, if you see what's happening, my elbow, I'm just rotating from my hip. But the elbow, shoulder, nothing's moving. It's exactly the same place. It hasn't moved. I haven't moved my shoulder, haven't moved my head, haven't moved the hand. It's just moving like that. So the first part of it is all driven by the rotation again. Yep. So the rotation comes around, and I get halfway around here where we're back double weighted again. I get double weighted, and then this is the flow on effect of that motion of doing that. That's what's happening. So it goes across and goes down and all of that, and then it gets to about here and gravity picks it up again, and I use the gravitational force to start the exercise. And the gravitational force starts way out about here somewhere. When the elbow comes around to about there, the gravity picks up, and now I ride the gravity down, use the energy of the gravity as the hand wants to go down by itself. The hand wants to go down by itself. So I'm going to use that energy of the gravity. I'm just going to ride the wave down, and I'm going to use that wave to turn the body and come up to the top and then stop. Good. And now I'm going to use my pelvis. I'm going to turn my hips. My hip's going to turn, and it's going to come back all by itself. Good. Now it's going to do everything by itself. Let gravity pick it up. Ooh, across the back up to the other side. Turn the hips. Gravity goes down, turns the hips. Gravity goes across, turn the hips. And you can see what's happening I'll try and make it look so it's easy to see. So the hand goes and swings up and comes up by itself. Yeah, it goes around. Fast it will look like this. Yeah. That feeling. Then just goes up by itself and turn back. Up by itself, turn back. Up by itself, turn back. Up by itself, turn back. Yep, there, that's what's happening inside the exercise. Yep. Now all I'm going to do now is ride that energy wave of the gravity pulling the arm up and get to here and come back. Now, what drives the arm out that way from this side? We've always talked about the hip, yep. And we've got from here. Now, we're still double weighted. We're double weighted with both feet at the stage. So what's going to turn those feet to get the hips to turn around and lower the hip? Now, you've got to know what's going to move this to have that to happen. Now, we know that it's to do with our hips at this stage. There's another part to this, but just to say with the hip for the moment. We're going to move our hip to get back. And the generation of our hip movement, that movement there, generates the whole exercise. And everything else happens by energy. That movement of that to going from there, heel down, from there, heel down, that movement there, that generates everything else to happen. It goes from there, goes across, down, and comes back up again. Generate the hips, down, back up again. Down, back up again. To there. Across, down, back up again. So what the thing is, what's creating this? This is the question. What creates that movement from here? What creates that movement to get from here to there? Where's that coming from? And I'll tell you what, I'm going to make it even easier too. I'm going to give it to you as homework until Thursday. Tuesday's class, and we'll talk about, because we're going to get a bit more about this exercise too. But we'll leave it there, and I just want you to practice that and work out what happens from here when you turn, and you know you're double weighted, and you know you're turning your hips, and I'll make it even easier. You know you're retreating this hip. You're not pushing this hip forward. You're retreating this hip. What happens to that movement to generate the movement of the whole exercise comes from just pulling this hip back. That generates the whole movement of the exercise. But how does that hip get pulled back? That's your homework for the day. Yeah, comes up, pull that hip back. Starts the exercise, gravity picks it up, the whole rest of it happens by itself. And all comes from the rotation. Now, give you another clue. It's coming from the foot that's off the ground, and that's rotating backwards. That's rotating backwards, even though they're double weighted, that's rotating backwards somehow. And that movement there, on top of the toes, loading on the kidney point, that there creates the whole movement of this exercise. Rotation of one leg and putting the heel down. And play with that and see how that goes. There we go. I don't want to give that away. I want you to practice that one. Yeah, very cool. And how you're letting go the physical aspect of this and just letting the energy do the exercise and getting the physical out of the road and what's happening energetically. But it takes time. It takes time, to let the physicality of any exercise. It takes, when you first start doing this, you lift your arms up with your muscles because you don't know how else. You have no other way of knowing how to do that. You say lift your arm up. What does that? So I must lift up my muscles. Everybody would say that, unless you've been doing some other practice. But most people would say, oh, you lift your muscles up to do that. Most people would say you pick up your shoulders, actually. So we're trying to work out how to lift the shoulders up without using the shoulders, without using the muscles in the whole arm. We're trying to let the energy do it, work out how we can get the energy to move the arm up, move the arm down, without any involvement of the muscles. And let the energy control itself. And the muscles are relaxed. Don't get me wrong, muscles are good for other things, but this particular practice, we're learning the other one. We're learning how to do it energetically, and we can know how to do it muscular-wise too. We can do it both. But the one we don't know how to do is energetically, and that's the one we're trying to learn. And we're trying to move our whole body energetically. Our whole body energetically without using muscles. And we're working out how to do that. We know you can. We're just not quite sure how it all works yet, or we had the experience of the arms just floating, and you do this exercise and the arms are moving by themselves, and you're not doing that. This is happening without me trying to do that. The body just moves by itself. Yep, very cool. Great exercise. Good. Roll back in your thumbs. Cool. Cool. Have a beautiful week.